Okay, and it got you yet again. This is the 15th video in this little series. And what I've done is to look closely at the 13 principles of Wicca as written down in 1974, I think it was, by Weschke, I think his name is. And myself, who's not considered myself to be a Wiccan, or to be following the Wiccan way, has now had a look at these things with an open mind and look closely at the words that are being used and sought to try and find connections and correlations with my own ways of being and points of view. And I'm actually very surprised that I could approach something which is considered to be an important aspect of a religion that I don't consider myself to be a part of, and to find that out of all 13 principles, I am in agreement with 100% of them. And yes, my life does already follow and aspire to continue following these 13 principles. The main emphasis of these 13 principles is life, is living, is accepting that you've got a lot more to learn and a lot further to go, and not seeing yourself as being like the grand authority upon anything. They're actually very humbly written. I mean, I've come across a few people in Wicca who are not humble, but whether they were following or not following the 13 principles, you know, that's up to them. It's up to them to decide as well. But essentially, yes, I personally am following these principles in my daily life on a regular, you know, all the time, without considering myself to be a Wiccan. Now, if the definition of a Wiccan is someone who follows the 13 principles, just hypothetically, if that's the case, that a person who follows the 13 principles is a Wiccan, then I am a Wiccan and I am a witch. Then we've got to think about what doesn't make someone a Wiccan. What if that person already follows and accepts these principles intuitively, instinctively, naturally, but doesn't see themselves as a Wiccan? What then? Then you've got to ask yourself, what was it that makes people who call themselves a Wiccan believe that they are a Wiccan? It can't just be down to these 13 principles. It's got to be something more. Now, when I did sociology, one of the theories that we studied, one of these sociological perspectives, was that of the imagined community. And when a person would read up the mythology and history of the country in which they were living in, let's say it was Finland, okay, and they would listen to the music of Sibelius and have an empathy with the nation of Finland, for just out of example, okay, and they would see themselves as being Finnish. The fact that they might have been born in South Africa, you know, of Middle Eastern descent, with some of their ancestry coming from Russia, and their great-grandmother being an American, I mean, that doesn't matter. The person saw themselves, might even, you know, be, you know, a black man living in Finland, which is a predominantly white country, and saying, yeah, I am Finnish, because I imagine myself to be a part of this community. Maybe a similar phenomenon is happening here with Wicca. As I say, if your understanding of a Wiccan or a witch is someone who follows the 13 principles, look upon the face of a witch, okay? Boom, I am a Wiccan or a witch, if the 13 principles is your definition of a witch or a Wiccan. That's me. I feel that there must be more embellishments upon the concept, because apart from, like, look after yourself, remember you're still growing up, and don't worship Satan or the devil as defined by the Christian tradition, that's more or less all it means. And there's too many similarities within these 13 principles with the life of an atheist, with the life of an agnostic, or indeed a Christian. Well, of a certain type, obviously not the fundamentalist fanatical type, but one of the more accepting, more liberty-minded types, of course. So, there's many more Wiccans or witches in this world than you presumably previously thought. It's fascinating. Anyway, I've personally enjoyed this little journey of discovery. And yeah, it's opened my eyes up to the 13 principles of Wiccan belief. But because they can be applied to so many different peoples, can they really be definitions of what a Wiccan is? That's the real question. Or indeed, is the purpose of the 13 principles to demonstrate that there isn't really a definition of what a Wiccan really is? I'll leave you with that thought. Alright, good fortune, God and or Goddess and or none of the above bless. Look after yourself. Nick Dutch signing out. Bye for now.